if SEC doesn't approve these other ETFs, they're all going to sue the SEC. And I don't think the SEC wants to be embarrassed by that and have the judges one by one say, no, we're siding with all of these cryptos. Let's go ahead and talk about our favorite thing here, Bitcoin news. There's been a lot of stuff going on around Bitcoin. We mentioned it in early December that there's a big decision coming up by the SEC on January 10th. I guess that's like one of their deadlines. Whenever one of these ETF like BlackRock, they make their application, and there's a lot of different dates, potential decision dates, and this January 10th is kind of like the final decision date that the SEC has. They either have to approve it or deny it. That's the last chance. They can't delay it anymore. So a lot of people have been hyping this up. This is going to be a big, huge thing. January 10th is the day. Some people thought it was going to be this last week or this previous week. We haven't really seen any news. We've seen some leaks here and there. People are, I think, trying to manipulate the news a little bit to drive either the price up or down. We saw actually a big dump the other day. It was like at 45K, 46K, something like that. And it dumped back down to around in the 40s, around 40K. But it's already came back up. I might be around 44, 45K. So anyways, it's going up and down like 5-10%. And, I think people are just trying to kind of figure out what the news are, but January 10th is the day. What have you heard, Mando?
It's just a bet, right? Like always that you're investing or trading, you're betting. So I will be disappointed if they don't approve it, right? And probably the market will be as well. But it is what it is. I think that is imminent and it will have to come. And hopefully the government see it and we just move on and start actually going with the plan of the ETF, right?
Yeah. And so I think a big part of what's been driving some of the price fluctuations, and just a reminder, we're just two dudes on the internet, not financial advice here, but a lot of things that's been driving it is like a lot of these ETFs are now starting to seed their funds in anticipation of everything getting approved. So they're buying like 10 million here, 20 million there, just kind of little bits here and there just to prime their pumps, right? They got to prime their processes to get some Bitcoins available for that in anticipation of this approval. Now, you might think, 10 million here, 20 million there is not really that big of a deal. That shouldn't really drive too much of this price movement. So it's still, I think, a lot of retail being like normal people like me and Mando going out there buying Bitcoin or whatever the case is, right? That's what's driving a lot of it. But, now they're saying that now even big banks are starting to get into the game. You're starting to see some partnerships coming up. The banks are trying to partner now with these ETFs saying, okay, well, we can help. We can, partner with you. We'll drive people to your product and we'll sell it as well. So I think now everyone's starting to kind of see the writing on the wall, should get approved. Rumors are that like BlackRock itself, once they get that approval, they've got $2 billion ready to buy. And that's just BlackRock. There's 10 other applications out there that of people ready to buy as well. So that's why people are like, okay, this is coming. It's going to drive the price up a good amount. Nobody really knows how much, but a good amount.
Yeah. And I think that if you think about it from the perspective of finances, people wanted to diversify. And that's the reason why this product is independently, if you like it or not, right? So it's just a different product. And that's what you want sometimes in your own portfolio. Some people might be maxis, right? 90% of your net worth there. Some people want only 1%, right? So, and it's the choice. Or even some people will say zero, right? And it's perfectly fine. But I think that for financial institutions, the premise is that if they put only like 1% of portfolios for pension funds or things like that, it's a lot of money, right? For because you have a city that has the pension fund for, I don't know, New York firefighters, right? And it's like they're going to invest 1% on this, or even a couple points, but it's still like a good chunk, right? So that way you start seeing these financial institutions that they have already the money, and they're trying to diversify. So in that way, they are trying to find different products like this one. I do have a question for you. What is your take? Why the products for the futures, they're not doing that well compared to maybe an ETF?
Mm.
What's your point there? What do you think that um, why this one will be better than the other ones, or even buying it, right?
Yeah. So from what I've seen, and this is part of the reason why people are like, hey, there's futures ETFs, and then there's like spot, which are the ones that we're trying to get approved right now, the spot Bitcoin ETFs, right? The futures is like, really, what do you think the price is going to be in the future? What they've seen is typically in these futures, they're used to short Bitcoin. So there's always been kind of a downward pressure on Bitcoin price with these futures ETFs, and so there has never been kind of this equalizing part, and a lot of people think that's why um, SEC hasn't yet approved the spot Bitcoin ETF because they like kind of this downward pressure. They didn't want that many people to get into it yet until they kind of figured out the regulatory scene. But now, I think they understand it. They got some of the big nefarious players out. Right, the FTXs are out, the Binance guys out, CZ. Right, we've got Celsius and all these other smaller players are now out, so they try to clean up the industry a little bit, and now they
Hmm.
say, okay, it's maybe a little bit safer now
Yeah.
to open this up to large institutional players, because if like you said, there's these big pension funds like the firefighter funds, the teacher funds. If the SEC allows these big pension funds to invest in something that's not safe yet,
Hmm.
right, a lot of people could potentially lose their pensions and stuff like that. And it would not be good for the economy as a whole. So a lot of folks thought, okay, cleaned up the industry. We got a lot of the players out there that weren't doing things correctly or right. Got those out, cleaned them up. Got Coinbase, which is a I guess maybe U.S. based, but I think they also have right outside of the U.S. Based operations as well. But they're trusted. They've been working real closely with SEC. They are likely going to be the ones that manage a lot of the stuff for like BlackRock and things like that. They're the ones that are going to be hosting, um, at least to start with, hosting a lot of the actual Bitcoin and things like that. They set everything up to try to be as clean as possible. Now they open up the spot Bitcoin ETF. This levels the playing field now, so there's not the downward pressure from the futures ETFs that have been out there. And so you should see a slightly positive rise. There should be some upward pressure on the price and things like that now. And again, not financial advice, but that's what the outlook is looking like. So there's no longer this kind of constant downward pressure on the price, and it's just been retail, like people, onesie twosie people like you and me buying stuff up that's been having the price up. Now there's
Hmm.
large institutional players that are going to be driving the price up. And back, I don't remember, in maybe early December, there was like this news came out that said, oh, like it got approved. They bought so many billion, and that drove the price up like, I don't know, 10K or something like that. And that was just from a few billion buying, right? Potentially, we're going to see several billion buying right now. So, it should be an order of magnitude bigger in terms of price. I I'm obviously pro Bitcoin here, so I think the price is going to head towards 100K fairly quickly or fairly soon, knowing that also the Bitcoin halving is right around the corner in April. So I think those two things, it's really going to drive the price up. Even though typically we don't see the peak I guess because right,
Hmm.
Bitcoin goes in cycles. The peak is not likely until historically 18 months after the halving. So we're talking about like summer or October of 2025 when we'll see the next peak.
Yeah,
And
I
that could be
mean,
a lot higher.
and that's right now. That's what we are waiting, right? And there is gonna be this milestone in a few days, so we'll keep you posted on the news. But yeah, it's gonna be everywhere.
If it does not get approved, yeah, it could be a bit of a shit show out there. So we'll see what happens. I know, Mando, you said, you know what would be funny in one of our last videos, right? A lot
Yeah.
of times they say the market does the opposite of what everyone thinks, so that's always the danger here. So it's good to understand that, yeah, it could be a no. It could get rejected for whatever reason. There haven't been many good
Knowing the
reasons why.
government, they forgot a checkbox in the form.
You're right. And it's just like, oh, well, you got to reapply or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
we know BlackRock's track record. I think they've got like 500 or 600 applications. Only one has ever been denied. So I think a lot of people are betting that, yeah, it's gonna get approved. But you know what? On the other side, right? Let's say it does not get approved. The BlackRock ETF gets rejected, and they all get rejected, right? It puts the SEC kind of in a bad position. It kind of paints him into a corner a little bit because we saw what happened with XRP and things like that.
Hmm.
XRP, there was a lawsuit. XRP brought a lawsuit towards the SEC saying, like, look, we've been trying to comply with you guys the whole time, but you guys are like playing games here. Well, the judge agreed, and they sided with XRP, which kind of cleared them from all the things that the SEC was saying they did wrong. So, XRP won. That maybe helps set a little bit of precedent here that, hey, if SEC doesn't approve these other ETFs, um, they're all going to sue the SEC. And I don't think the SEC wants to be embarrassed by that and have the judges one by one say, no, we're siding with all of these cryptos. So I think it's better if it's on the SEC's terms and not necessarily handled in the courts
Hmm.
necessarily. So they're kind of painted into a little bit of a corner right now.
Yeah, and it's that pressure, right? Even politicians, and we have seen it with tech in uh, different products. Like in the case even Uber was breaking the law for a long time. The company, and at the end of the day, they approve it with certain rules. But I think that that's kind of the usually the friction between kind of companies that they are evolving and they are like bringing new products and trying to comply with the rules and all of that. So, but yeah, we'll see in the next few days what is the outcome of this.
Yeah, for sure. So it's 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 coming to a head here pretty soon. So pretty exciting times for lots of Bitcoin holders. We're kind of see what's going to happen. The landscape's about to change. We don't know in which direction, but 2024 is going to be a very, very interesting time. Yeah. Well, everybody, I think that's all what that we've got for today. I just want to encourage y'all to like, subscribe, and comment. We love seeing the engagement. It's really fun. I want to do a shout out to my friends, Raul, Jay, Leo. You guys have been commenting and letting me know how much you guys enjoy the content. So I just want to make sure you guys know that we appreciate y'all. Mando?
Yeah, shout out to Jason. It's like he has been helping us to shape the pod, to give some structure. So thank you.
Yeah. So again, appreciate it. Happy New Year. We'll see y'all next time. We'll see you sin miedo.
Dale, bye.
Bye.